You guys, let's get right to it. Draymond Green should not get a max extension from the Golden State Warriors. Now, let me tell you guys why this shouldn't happen. If you think about it, Draymond Green has done so much for the Warriors in his career. He's helped them get 4 championships. I can guarantee they wouldn't have 4 championships if there was someone else other than Draymond on this team. He's been so integral to the championship run, to the offense. He's been the quarterback on defense, so the middle linebacker, and he's done everything. And he has a great relationship with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, and he's one of the most smartest players in NBA history. But at this point, the Warriors are in the situation where they have too many big contracts. You're giving Steph Curry close to 50 plus million a year. Klay Thompson is getting 40. Andrew Wiggins wants an extension. Jordan Poole wants an extension. And Draymond wants an extension. Unfortunately, there's a salary cap. Joe Lacob has said that he's not willing to spend like $400 million. And that doesn't make him a cheap owner because he is going all out for this team. And he's spent more than any other owner in NBA history. But if you give Draymond a contract at this point, you're basically paying him for his past performance. Look, Draymond was extremely important for the Warriors in this past playoff run. They don't get this championship without him, and I know he struggled a little bit in the finals, but in Game 6 and in Game 2 after they went down 0-1, Draymond was a key player in both of those games. But look, I think personally, Draymond in his best years are behind him. So if you give him a max, you're locking him in for 5 years, and I think that's just going to hinge you going into the future because then you might not be able to pay guys like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. And just as a team and as a team builder, you have to think about the future. Everything Draymond has done is great, but you can't let that be the reason to not build your team moving forward. I think a guy like Jordan Poole, who's 22, and he's learning and he's getting better and he's shown improvement and he's a hard worker, I know anyone would pay him on the market a max for what he'll be eligible for. You got to get that guy signed. Andrew Wiggins is only, 26, 27. He was very important to what the team did. He'll get a max, so you have to pay him. Draymond, on the other hand, I don't think will get a max on the open market. What Draymond does is great, and he would help a lot of teams. Like, people say that he'd only be good on the Warriors. That's not true, but he is his best on the Warriors, and I think teams will realize that at this point. Draymond's been in the league for 10 plus years. He's 32. He hasn't played, he hasn't been as healthy the last few years, so I don't think the Warriors are just willing to tie up 5 more years to him because look, you might get 1 or 2 good years out of Draymond, and which he'll deserve, but 4 years later, 5 years later, it's not going to be the same. And the Warriors ownership, in my opinion, is looking to build for the long run. And that's what smart organizations do. And look, all the loyalty to Draymond. And I think he's not going to get the max, but I think he will stay with the Warriors. I think he's just using his leverage at this point, and this is a negotiation tactic by Draymond. He's putting it out there so there's more pressure on the Warriors. And obviously guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond, they're the big 3. They've played together, and there's pressure from reports out that Steph Curry wants to play with Draymond and Klay for his whole career. So that puts pressure on the Warriors to maintain these guys. But I just don't think they're going to be able to do it because they're going to have to make some business decisions. Some of these guys that are older vets that have been paid, like Draymond, has gotten 2 really good contracts from the Warriors. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, they've gotten paid. I think it's time to pay the younger guys who might be here for the next 5 to 10 years. So if it was up to me, I wouldn't make that decision. And look, Draymond can put a lot of pressure on the Warriors at this point because he is a very outspoken person, right? So Draymond has a podcast, he has a personality, everybody knows him. So Draymond can really, go out of his way and make this an issue, which I don't think he will. I think he's just putting it out there as a business decision from his end. He wants to get paid. He knows that, guys are coming up and this might be his big paycheck, last big paycheck, and more power to him. He deserves it. But I think financially, from a business point of view, this is not the best move for the Warriors. And especially if you guys have if the Warriors trust a guy like Jonathan Kuminga to be coming up and being a future star, he would, if you think about the starting lineup, who is he going to replace? It's going to be Draymond Green. And I don't think that's going to happen next year, but the year after that, it might be, and the thing with the Draymond contract is he signed for this year. He has a player option for the next year. So there's potentially 2 more years left on his contract. So why give him an extension? I think after next year, when Draymond's contract is, he's eligible for a player option to exercise it for 1 more year, he'll probably look at it and be like, yo, why would I do this? Because teams are going to be looking at it like, look, Draymond's another year older. There's more miles on his body. So I think Draymond is trying to use his leverage early on and put the pressure on the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors are going to budge. I do want Draymond to finish his career as a Golden State Warrior with Klay and Steph Curry, but I think at some point, teams have to make these tough decisions. Look, it's hard for a team to keep a player for their whole career. It usually only happens to guys like Steph, Kobe, Dirk, Tim Duncan. You know, all-stars like Draymond, who isn't a Hall of Famer, does not get the same treatment that Steph would. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Steph is the golden child, and then I think it's Clay. And I think, you know, the Warriors organization, there is like off-field stuff with Draymond every now and then. He's very outspoken, and I don't know, man. Like, the Warriors are going to think, do we want to put up with that for 5 more years? And I don't think so. So, you look, the Warriors have a lot of tough decisions to make. This is definitely one of them. This is what happens when you get great. This is my frustration with the luxury tax, because the Warriors would obviously pay the Draymond max contract if there was no luxury tax, because they're going to be paying so much money because of that. And it sort of sucks that they're being penalized for going over the luxury tax for players that they've drafted, developed, and now, you know, guys like Andrew Wiggins who no one wanted. But it is what it is. It's not going to change, and you have to make smart business decisions. So from my perspective, if I'm a Warriors, you know, ownership, if I'm in the front office, unfortunately, as much as I love Draymond Green and everything that he's done for him, he's a Warrior for life. He's like immortalized in the Bay Area. I would not give him a max contract extension at this point of his career. You guys, let me know what you would do. Would you give Draymond this extension? If so, why? If not, why? Like, let me know, comment. And guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. I appreciate everything. Sports Moz out.